Good evening and welcome to the Chronic Health Collective. This isn't just your community, it's your fresh start. We've gathered the best coaches and experts to help you reclaim your energy, heal from the inside out, and live with purpose. Whether you're longing for more energy, deeper healing, your relationships, or a life that feels more aligned and fulfilling, you're not alone anymore. And today we're talking about the power of story, why we write, how we write, and what it means to publish in alignment with who we truly are. So, do you have a story inside you've been afraid to tell? That's why we're going to look at it. Ink, intuition, integrity, behind the scenes of the conscious book creation. Tonight, I am joined with Kristy Boyd Johnson. She is a developmental editor, the story midwife who helps authors uncover the deeper narrative of their souls are trying to speak. And also with Teresa Velarde, the founder of Authentic Endeavors Publishing, empowering authors through storytelling, publishing, and her popular daily gift book series. She also hosts Conversations That Make a Difference and spotlighting inspiring voices and transformative stories. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
I am not doing really good on reading my notes. It's a good thing that I just plan on going off the cuff for so much of this. But what I really wanted to talk about, so with the Chronic Health Collective, one of the things that we do a theme each month. And this month, in November, our theme obviously is about gratitude. And I am so grateful to have the opportunity to speak my voice in the format of a book. And the first book I wrote was Blooming into Life. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And I would like you ladies to chime in and anywhere you think you need to, please. You're not interrupting me. But when I wrote my first book, I had had some healing under my belt, and I was in a group of networking people, and I was there to grow my healing business, to build that media kit, all the print stuff. You know, your power bio, your news release, speaker bio, or your speaker one page, your book one page, the sizzle reel, just all the stuff you needed to have a media kit. Because, of course, if you have a media kit, your business is going to grow and boom. And everyone that was in this group seemed like they were all authors or in the process of a book. And everyone was talking like, that's nice. Yeah, I won't be doing that anytime soon, But I was there to learn, and this networking group helped everybody in all walks of life and different businesses. And I just remember feeling that, I remember when I first started in business over 20 years ago, if you didn't have a business card, you weren't a business. And then if you didn't have a website, you weren't a business. You were fly by night if you didn't at least have a website. And then it advanced and you had to have the socials. And as I was in this networking group, it really felt like if you didn't have a book, you weren't really a business either. And while I know that books are not necessarily a money maker, but it is kind of today's business card. And I applied to work with a coach. And as I had already done a lot of the healing, and this coach wanted to know my backstory. What was my story? Where was I at? Where did I come from? Who was I? And I thought, oh, this sounds awful. And I sat down and I started writing, pen and paper. I'm traditional school. I'm not going to call it old school. I'm going to call it traditional. Pen and paper. And I wrote my story. And at about 2:30 in the morning, 2:45, I put down my pen and I thought, oh, that was easy. And I'm tired. And so all of a sudden it's like, I could write my story. I really could. This is easy. I've done the healing. And I know a lot of people will write a book, and that is writing the book is their healing process. But I really felt I had already done a lot of the healing. And so now I could write a book. And I had my power bio. And so I'd started dabbling with AI a little bit. So I took my power bio, the 1,400 word version, popped it into AI and said, how do I organize this? Give me an outline for a book. And I did. I had 8 chapters. And I set in with the writing I'd done the night before, and I was going to have a surgery. So I was going to have some downtime. And that's when I did it. I wrote my memoir. And in this process, I also researched, how to self-publish. I started following some book coaches, some publishers, and it was my whole purpose was to write my story, where I'd come from, where I was going, what I thought life was, so that other people could learn about things that they could do in their life. I wanted to inspire people to take all those challenges and turn them into opportunities
Mhm.
and to live and to grow and to be. It's like, okay, cool, you got this book. And I thought, oh, yeah, it surely isn't good enough. I'm dyslexic. I have a really hard time reading, and now I've written a book. And Kristy was in the group of people with me, and she is a developmental author or developmental editor. And everybody said, just take it to Kristy, just take it. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want anyone who knows me reading this. How could I possibly publish this? And all of those crazy things happened. And so then I did. I engaged Kristy to be my developmental editor and really taking a look at this and what she did for me, which is her role. I'm going to have her talk a little bit more about that, is coming in and looking at your book and making sure that as an author, I understood the assignment. And the assignment is not to write for me, it's to write for my readers. The people who are reading your book, those are the people that need to stay engaged. They're the ones paying the bill. They're buying it. So it has to be interesting to them. So kind of evening out the story. Did I tell enough detail here? Did I take them down a long country road here they didn't want to go down? So Kristy really kept the story moving and flowing and really relevant. And I had done so much research, and I'd taken every free workshop there is out there. I have watched more YouTube videos than I care to admit about publishing and, what do you do with a publisher and not do a publisher and everything. So I my book was published in March of 24, and I did use a publisher, and I learned so many things. And I'll tell you what, the minute you publish a book, everyone thinks you know everything about writing.
Mhm.
No, I know my story. That's what I know. And I know the resources that I use to get it published. And I really thought my book represented what it is that I do as an intuitive healer and a wellness coach. And it's a beautiful book, but it was a very safe book. And I have found that I've really outgrown that safe. So I knew there was another book. And again, it was another, how did you start doing this story that I started writing to someone that I realized that is your next book, girl. That's what you're going to write about. And that's what I did. And so I just want to remind everybody, we all have a story in us.
Mhm.
And I think that, all of those bits and paper, the notepads, the digital journals, everything that you keep it, hold it, because it is your story. And there is a way to express your voice and your story and tell what it is. Whether it's, I'm doing more memoir style stuff, I guess is my genre. But just really put it together. And then I wanted to bring in Kristy tonight to talk about, what it is a developmental editor does and how that plays in with the other pieces that you need to have. And what Teresa as a publisher, what do publishers really need from you? And I think that it's really, really hard when everyone is self-publishing now. I think that really muddies the water.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, which is why I'm choosing to go with a publisher again. But my next book is Stepping into Power, and Kristy is my developmental editor with this book as well. And I wrote this because my book needed to be bolder, and just really writing this as to what it is to be an intuitive who's no longer hiding. I kind of joke and call it, being a psychic in the Midwest coming out of the closet. It's a whole lot of stuff, but there's soul level shifts of claiming your gifts and being able to be public with it. And I anticipate this book is releasing. Well, Tracy and I've talked. It's releasing after the first of the year, possibly as late as February. But just stay in the loop. We'll keep on with that. So, Kristy, come and tell us a little bit more the story behind the story. Getting rid of that ego and what the readers are really looking for.
Well, yes, both your books are definitely in the memoir because they're very personal. And I actually really agree with you that the second book is much more of you coming out of hiding. You told your kind of your life story in your first one. This is more of your inner journey. And it's beautiful. I've been enchanted with this book as we've been going through it. But so development, the main thing to know if you want to write a book, if it's nonfiction, is that, well, even if it's fiction, but it's a little different for fiction. But for nonfiction, you have to always remember that the process of writing that book is all about you. You got to find your way. Like maybe you're the type of person that can get up 15 minutes early in the morning and write for a bit before you go to work. Or maybe you're the type that takes the whole weekend and just, blitzes it, or whatever it is for you. That's okay. There's no one right way. You do the way that works for you. But the content of the book is about the reader. If your book doesn't flow, in your case, Amanda, especially your first book, you needed a timeline. It had to follow a timeline or it didn't make sense. In the first draft, you guys, your first draft is always a mess. We call it a vomit draft. It's always a mess.
I cringed when I got my first draft back from Kristy. And I tell this story often, and she knows I do. And it's like she cut the first 3 paragraphs out of the chapter. It's like, but that's my story. And I couldn't touch it for like 2 weeks. It had to sit there for 2 weeks. And it's like, wait a minute. She's good at what she does. You got to trust the process. Just pick it up and read it without that in there. And I have a bestseller book. So, we trust the process.
Trust the process.
Because yes, she shredded my book.
I know. And it does feel that way to the author. And I have been through it. I'm an author myself. So I've been through in the reverse where someone has said, in fact, my first book, my readers were like, these first 3 chapters are really boring. Can you just make them go away? And I'm like, okay. So I cut the first 3 chapters, and then I felt like I was starting in the middle, but it actually made it much better. So, but anyway, yes, that's part of the process because it's the job of someone like me to tell you this is not working and this is why. If it's just a personal preference, that's a different thing than an editor who's saying to you, it doesn't work with what your message is here, or you're over explaining this. You've gone on for 3 pages on the same thing. Can we shrink it down? Or also in the reverse, you threw out this line. It's gold. What happened? Where's the rest? And you jump to the next thing too fast. So it's both. It's where do you need more? Where do you need less? And a lot of it is rearranging. You put this timeline, you put the end before the beginning, and it doesn't, what? I don't know where we are. And so, it's just a lot of that kind of stuff. But the thing is about the first draft, you cannot edit it until you have your first draft. Mm-hmm. And so who cares? Just get it down on the page. That's the number one block, that's the number one writer's block, is editing yourself on your first draft. Don't do it. No editing. Don't go, oh my gosh, should I say dark, or should I say black, or should I say, shadowy? Or don't do that to yourself. It just blocks you. Just put something down, because you can't edit a blank. You cannot edit a blank page. You can only edit what's on the page. So get it down, let it come out. Don't worry about anything. And then, and then later you can work on that. So, and you also want to make sure that your editor is someone that communicates really well with you. Amanda and I have known each other for a long time, so it works really well. And when she asks me questions, we know how to communicate well. So that's really effective. If you have an editor that isn't explaining to you what they're just cutting something, but with no explanation, then, you got to ask for that. So, but your second book, what was really funny is with Amanda is that there were so many moments of like, what is this? And then you jumped ahead, and I was like, you need to put more in here. And she was a little shy about it. She was having a little, do I really want to go deep in this? And I told her, yes, if you're going to do this book, because it's about, she's a Midwestern. This is like coming out of the cornfield.
Yeah, not a closet. You're right. It is kind of out of the cornfield.
and it's a beautiful book, and it's really, really taken shape. So we have a little more work to do on it, but it's taking shape beautifully. So
it is. Yeah. And so not only do you use, so the developmental editor hands you back your book to make additions, to take things away, to reorganize it, to put the flow back into it. And then I also have used a proofreader. Now, the proofreader is the person who looks for making sure that you are doing things consistently. So in my new book, I'm talking about the woo, and I do air quotes and I do real quotes because but then being consistent. And so the proofreader is going to go through and make sure that everything is formatted in the same way like that, which is different than formatting a book. And I will take on a lot of jobs. I will never take on formatting a book. And that is clearly not going to be something that I want to do. No. So I think that, one of the biggest things for me with my first book is I put it all in. And I really thought I had a book ready to go to press before I handed it over. My second book, I knew I was going to be working with Kristy, and Kristy's like, throw me what you got. We'll work on it. It's like, it is so much easier to vomit the information out, put it all out there and cut it down versus building it up and putting things back in and making them fit and flow. So I've learned a lot of things in this second approach at doing this second book. The second book is a very cool book, a very heartfelt book, but it's been a harder book to write because I didn't do that same format. So when you're starting to write a book, you're also finding your place. So definitely you got to start before you're ready. Your clarity happens in the process of writing. Mm-hmm. And so we're getting ready to go to commercial break. And Teresa, when we come back, now that we've explored kind of how to shape our story, we're going to look at how to bring that story into the world. And that's the magic of the publisher and what you need from authors to do that. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
When you look in the mirror, do you see skin that's just dry, tired, and stressed? It's time for a new ritual. Introducing Deep Love, the blue botanical face cream by Coolness. We've captured their tranquil essence of blue botanicals in a cloud-soft formula that deeply soothes irritation and restores your natural, healthy glow. This isn't just skincare, it's an act of self-care. It's deep love. Find your calm only at coolness.com. Scan the QR code now to visit our website.
She looks like she has it all together, but inside, she's exhausted, disconnected, and asking, is this really it? I'm Amanda Beth. I help visionary women shift from burnout to embodiment, from survival mode to soulful success. Through intuitive healing and aligned strategy, I guide them back to their power so they can lead with clarity, confidence, and calm.
I was floored at how effective and powerful and insightful everything was in this journey. She is amazing, and you should absolutely do it.
This isn't about pushing harder. This is about rising with purpose, prosperity, and peace.
And we are back. I'm Amanda Beth, intuitive healer and wellness coach. And tonight we are talking about publishing a book, because isn't that what's on everyone's list? And I'm joined with Kristy Boyd Johnson.
Amanda, can I just throw in one quick thing about proofreading?
Sure.
That we should add? Well, because when you work with a developer, we develop the content, and the author and developer typically lose that ability to spot boo-boos. And because we've looked at it so often. So when you hire a proofreader, you want it to be someone who has never seen the manuscript ever, and it's ready for them to check for spelling, punctuation, and all that kind of thing. So that was just all I wanted to throw at that. That's the last step before it goes to the publisher.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Teresa Velarde is with Authentic Endeavors Publishing. And Teresa, I just want to say big congratulations to you today. I wrangled you in today. It was my show. And also celebrating the release of your most recent book in the Daily Gift series. This is the Daily Gift of Friendship. I'm a contributing author in that book as well, of course. And that is how I've gotten to know Teresa. I've known her through other networking things as well. And I've had the opportunity to contribute to the last 3 books now. So we'll definitely touch on this before we go, but congratulations. And did I read in a social media post that we've hit bestseller already?
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. It's just released today. How amazing. So it's awesome.
Yeah. It's great to see when the books go climb the ladder of success and land in the bestseller or new release bestseller category. It's very exciting, especially for authors who have never written before. It really is a boost to keep them going and continuing to write. You know, that's one of the things that saved me. And talk about healing. Writing is a healing process for me, and it has been for a very long time.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about the process, because I know we've talked about the things that I learned to do and not do with just writing it. And Kristy talking about the do's and don'ts, and that you're writing for your reader, not for yourself. You're right. It's very healing to write it, but then the reader's got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about your philosophy, or what do you think we need to know?
Well, I agree with Kristy. You're writing for yourself, of course, because you've got to get whatever the story is out of you and into the world if you want it to touch the world. And that's the only way to do it. You've got to get it out of you and put it on the paper. I love what she said about you writing for the reader, because I have always said my philosophy is this: if you have come through anything, any stress, any struggle, any circumstance, and you found your way to the other side, I feel it's your obligation to share it with somebody else. And it gives them not a handout, it gives them a hand up in their process of healing. And that's what writing did for me. It helped me to heal from years and years of horrible relationship. And just life in general was not the way I thought life would be. So I started writing about it. And it was my safe place. It was some place where I could go. Never had any intention of publishing anything. It was someplace where I could go. My journal was someplace where I could go, where I would feel safe to be able to put whatever I was feeling out on that page. And then after a while, somebody started asking me, why don't you publish this? Why don't you this? And whatever. And I was like, oh my God, somebody's going to find out that I, but people who I was talking about don't read books anyway. So,
I think I've heard this not from you, but from other people.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the writing process as being your safe haven. I also know, working as a social worker for many years and working with children and families, oftentimes that is where people go to be their safe place, is they read through reading, and they can get lost in the adventures of other people and see things that they wouldn't see otherwise. And
right.
I've known people are like, oh, nobody wants to hear my story. And it's the same as, it is your obligation to be an inspiration.
I agree. And Kristy gave really good advice on what to do, once you've got it down on the page, and give it to somebody like Kristy, who is a developmental editor, who will help to organize your work and show you where to focus more, so that the reader is getting enough information in whatever you're writing about, so that they can truly step into what you're talking about. So I totally agree with Kristy. What's the next steps, you say? Okay, so now you've taken it from Kristy, and we're gonna absolutely proofread or do any further editing that may be needed. Again, I love what you said about having another set of eyes on the work that has never seen it before, because how many times have we passed over a misspelled word simply because we put it there and it looks right to us?
And our brain knows what it's supposed to say.
Yeah, and as you read through it, you can hear yourself speaking it. So you're speaking what is on the page and not paying attention to the spelling, or not paying attention to the punctuation, or because a lot of people write exactly how they speak. Sometimes that's a big challenge for someone like Kristy or me who do editing.
Yes.
That's how I write.
Yeah.
That 12 line sentence, could you break that up for me a little?
Yeah. The run-on sentence is run-on sentence is a joy.
I think that readers have changed. The attention span has gotten so much smaller. I know in my new book, I pause a lot when I talk. That's just how I do. And I have found in my book, I have written a couple sentences and a space, and there's a lot of white space, but it also, that's how I talk. And I think that's going to help to keep the engagement in the book. And so as I'm going through it, it's like, but I was taught paragraphs are 3 to 5 sentences. This is what they need to be, not 1 or 2. And so but I think times are changing, and to be able to keep up with that as well.
Yeah. And it's one thing that you said that's really important. The one thing that's most sacred to anybody is their voice. So when we are reading something by Amanda Beth, we need to be able to hear Amanda Beth. I need to be able to hear you, because I have conversation with you all the time. Kristy has conversation with you all the time. It's important that who you are in conversation with us is reflected on the pages that you're giving out to the world. Because when you stand in front of a group of people and you're talking about what you've written on those pages, they need to know that you really wrote it and it sounds like you. So that's where the skill set of the author combines with the skill set of the editor, combines with the publication of your book, because it's all got one thread of authenticity running through it. So so when you come to me with it, we take another look at it, make sure that your punctuation is in place and your paragraphs are, properly, disseminated, and that your spelling is correct, and that your voice is clear throughout. Some editors, and I don't think that this is Kristy, and I put this this out there. If you send you send your work to somebody and they edit it in such a way that you've lost your voice, take your manuscript and run. Don't walk, run from that person, because that's definitely not the way editors, developmental editors, or proofreaders, or anyone in between is supposed to be doing their work. They're supposed to keep your voice intact. It's your story. When it comes to me and we go through those phases, once it's ready to get put together into the book, we make sure that your cover edifies what's on the inside, and that you have a good back cover copy that's going to draw the attention to the reader. Because what's the first thing you do? Oh, I like that cover. What's it about? You turn it around and you look at the back. So this has to draw people in. The back of the book needs to draw people in. So we make sure that you get something, you put something on there, whether you've written it, whether Kristy has done some work on it for you. We also have a market. This is also your marketing piece of your book as well. So we have to make sure that it's something that people are going to say, oh yeah, I'd like to read about that. And then they open the book. They look at the front, they look at the back, and then they open the book and they start to read a little bit of what you've written. So we make sure that that's the case. Then we send the whole kit and caboodle over to the interior. We send the interior to the format company. I have a team, and the company is part of my company. I have people who work not solely for me, but I have people who their expertise is formatting, and they put it all together and they make the interior look pretty. And then everything flows consistently through it. Like the chapters look like they belong together. They don't have different fonts on the chapters. It's the consistency factor is there. We put it all together in a beautiful package with the cover that has been created just for you, and it's ready to go. And then it goes on Amazon, it goes on Ingram and various distribution channels. And hopefully with some push, it gets to where you would want it to be, which is in the bestseller categories. Now, let me just say something about bestseller. Depending on where you put your book will determine whether or not you have legitimately put the flag of bestseller in the ground. So there are companies, there are people out there who have misrepresented books, and they've made it in bestseller categories that they have absolutely nothing to do with. I want somebody to read a book that when they buy my book, they know where it is. They know what the overall theme of the book is, whether it be a memoir or a self-help, or the book on friendship. Friendship has its own category. Who knew? You go through and you've got to find your way through. You'd have to go work with somebody who can find their way through the millions of categories that are out there, so that it gets into the place where people who are looking for your book are going to find your book. They're not going to find it in the janitorial section.
But I think that's some of the things, the knowledge, because how many book areas are there to choose from just on Amazon? Because I know a lot of people are like, well, I can self-publish, I can do KDP, I can self-publish, but there's 4,000.
There's so many. I don't even know. I
Yeah.
lost count of it.
Insane.
When COVID hit, everybody and their brother said, oh, I can't go out. I'll write a book. Oh, I can't go to work. I'll start a company. Oh, let me see. And it just, the market got flooded with so much stuff that it for people to do the job the right way, to do the work the right way on behalf of the author, you have to not only know what you're doing, but you have to know who's messing up what you're doing,
That is so true. A friend of mine asked me to look at her book, and it was already published. And I was looking at the preview on Kindle, and it was a normal page, and then on the next page the font was giant, so it was like you couldn't even fit a whole word on a page. And I was just like, oh honey, who did this to you, and why didn't you check it before you approved it?
So here's the thing: people don't know what they don't know.
Oh, and I guess that was, so when I decided to go with the developmental, if I just self-published my book like I thought I was going to do in the beginning, if my book was a flop, that would be because my book sucked and I didn't know what I was doing. But by going through the channels, I was investing in my book. I was investing in myself. I was investing in the story that I had already put so much time and care and love in to make sure that it was done right and proper. Yes, you can change your own oil, but is it really worth that oil stain in your driveway? There are things you can do, but there's also things that when you've put that much into it, you really owe it to yourself to follow through and do it properly.
Absolutely.
And I know when my book went to formatting, it came back, and the covers I've done myself. I was a graphic designer for 13 years. I've done my own covers. When it came to looking at the fonts, it's like, you have 4 different fonts in this book. This is not okay. And to make them, and there are a lot of things, and I never knew that I would have to read my book so many times.
Yeah.
And you do. And just handing the book over is not where my job ended. It definitely isn't. And the marketing piece that goes with that, you need to be marketing your book like I am tonight before your book is ever published, so that you have that exposure, because the book itself is not what's making you the money.
Right.
And if you don't have a following to know that your book is published, there's how many new books a day are put out there, and you're in that.
Right.
So that's why I really wanted to bring it home, and have some people that know what they're talking about to talk about.
It's so true. And I'm working with a client who she has it's fiction, and it is brilliant. It is a brilliant premise, but she doesn't have any. With fiction, you have to know the narrative structure, which is the skeleton, and then you have to know how to develop the characters. Without those 2 essential pieces, it's nothing. And her publisher called me and asked me to work with her because she needed to learn it. So she's learning as we're going how to develop a fiction book, which is a whole different animal from a nonfiction book.
Yes.
But it's without that, it's not going to go anywhere, because people are going to go, what is this? And who is this? There's a random character somewhere.
Yeah.
So the content is a big piece of that. And people now, the flip side of the problem is that if they're bored, they go click next book and you're done. And that's not a good position to be in. You want people to go, ooh, I want to read this book. Ooh, who is this author? I want to find more books by Amanda Beth. That's what we want. We want.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want. And in the meanwhile, then you can do things like what you've done with the Daily Gift book series. And this is also good for new authors, or people who are not sure if they want to be an author yet. They want to put their toe in the water of writing and see what happens, and when you collaborate with other authors on the same topic and write a short piece, an essay, or a short story to put into the book on the same topic, it's a lot easier to manage than a complete book. So for newbies, especially, collaborative book like the Daily Gift book series is a great way to experience becoming a published author without all the angst from because a first-time author may be all over the place, and then they have to have communication with Kristy or someone like Kristy who says, yo, you got to fix this.
Yeah,
A little bit in my New Yorker there, okay? So I can give a pointer for people, and I agree. Tell me if you agree with me or not, Kristy. But what I tell people when they're going to write a book, or even organize a story, I do this. I get Post-it notes or index cards, and I write the topic across the top and see, okay, what 3 things do I want to talk about in this chapter? Let's say, write them down. Okay, next point up at the top. Maybe I'll talk about this, this, and this. And the beauty of having them on little pieces of paper or little index cards is you can move them around. Instead of writing it all into Microsoft Word document and you're reading through it and you're saying, I'm at chapter 5, but I think what I wrote in chapter 1, it better fits over here, and so it's organizing your work before you write it, so that by the time it gets to Kristy, she doesn't have a lot of things to move around. You get to see the flow of your work from start to finish, and you can move things around as you go in the process, so that it makes everybody else's job easier.
I do that, and I color code them. So like, for example, whitewood might be the main point, and then maybe I take the orange cards and they're going to be, case studies, and then blue is going to be statistics and data if it's relevant to your topic. It depends on you. Your categories are dependent on your topic.
Right.
So in Amanda's case, that's not so applicable. But she does. I did tell her the most recent thing is that she needs more personal stories from real people who are in the same kind of awakening of becoming an intuitive. Or it's not becoming an intuitive, it's acknowledging that you're an intuitive and letting it come out more. And so that's what she's working on right now. And so the color, I do that, and I stick them up on the wall. The first time I wrote a book, I put them on the floor, and I found out if you have a cat, don't do that.
They love to run around with all those little pieces of paper
everywhere. And so I put them up on the wall, and then you can look at it too. And it can mull it, and you can go, oh my gosh, I repeated this story here. I want it to be here, take it out. And then you go in Word and take one of the chapters and just write it out, because you've got the bullet points.
Exactly. And the same thing you talked earlier about a timeline. So with a timeline, this is very helpful with a timeline. If you're going from one space to another and there's 3 things that happen in between, it's an easy way to line it all up and put it all together, so that in case of a memoir, it flows.
Memoirs. I can't even think of an instance when a memoir doesn't need a timeline, because it is it's a personal life story. So you have to, if you don't, it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's like when you're watching a movie and they keep flashing back, Those are just disastrous.
It's annoying. I don't understand. That is a symptom of people who think they can write and haven't actually taken the time to really learn.
Cool thing.
But there is a place for that in certain situations. There is a place for that. There is a place for that.
But it has to be done by somebody who A, knows what they're doing, and B, it's appropriate.
Yeah,
If,
exactly.
Not because you
and
just
it's
thought of it.
yeah,
not only that, but to the reader, it's recognizable as a
Right.
flashback or a previous occurrence that came
Right.
to someone's memory, someone's forefront of their mind at a particular time, and the reader has to be able to follow it.
Yes.
Otherwise, it gets lost in the book.
Yeah, the reader's going to be going, what is going on? And you can lose a reader just like that.
Yeah.
And unless they're really already a loyal fan, like for example, Stephen King fans, there was a period where I don't think an editor ever looked at some of the books, a couple of them that, and then you can tell that more recent work has back to being edited. But the diehard Stephen King fans will come back to him. But who else is Stephen King? We're not normal people. If you lose your audience, that's not a good thing. We need to keep them turning those pages and asking for more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really interesting. Once my book went bestseller, the emails just came pouring in, everyone wanting to take it to this level or take the next book. And it's amazing the things that you can pay for. And so once you publish your book, just be aware. You've already published your book. It's, some of these things, I don't know how anyone can promise selling 10,000 copies of my book. So be aware of that, because you would think after being published that the scams would slow down or stop, and they don't. So be very, very aware of that. And also the number of solicitations that I had to be contributing authors in different things. So I do feel I can speak from experience and tell you, Teresa, that you make the process of being a contributing author, compilation author, whatever title it needs to be, is very easy and pain-free. I've been solicited by several other books, and it does not go that way. And so, Teresa, tell us, how can people become a part of this A Daily Gift series with you?
Well, you can go to dailygiftbookseries.com and you can find some information there. Now, I have not put up the next book yet, which is going to be a daily gift of inspiration. I'm hoping to get that done the week after Thanksgiving. My goal is to have this published by early spring. And what you do is you just look. There's going to be if you look at the page now, you'll see that there's a few prompts, or a few writing prompts of what I was looking for the daily gift of friendship. And then I give you more writing prompts when you come on board and you're not really sure what you want to do. Like I'll give you like 25 writing prompts to work with, to just spark your mind on a story that you might want to share, or, an essay that you might want to write. And it's that simple. It's that simple. You come in, you look at what we have there, the various parameters around it. Eventually, I really do want this to be a daily gift of whatever, meaning 365 pages. Meaning you can read one, you can take it into the bathroom with you in the morning, for God's sake, and be inspired by something else besides what you're actually doing. The bottom line is that getting a short amount of inspiration, positive input. All of these books are positive input. In a negative world, that's what the world needs most right now, is just like a snippet of little information, in order to be able to take them through the day, while you're having your coffee in the morning, while you are, maybe if somebody's riding a train, take the book with you. If you only have, this is for people also who have very short attention spans, but can absorb a little bit to take with them. It's almost like a devotional where you can, glean a bit from it, think about it. How can I use this information? Oh, I have a story that's like that. I experienced that situation with a friend, or with with someone who had the guy who wrote the foreword for Daily Gift of Hope was literally left for dead, got run over, and somehow, some way, he is now living a very productive life. Is walking and talking again. He had a period of time where he could do neither, and so there's a lot of inspiration in these books, and every single person who has, well, almost every single person who has decided to be part of this has brought something really powerful to the table, whether it's similar to a circumstance or situation that somebody else had. It's their voice telling the story, their
And
voice.
I'm amazed at the diversity, and we are going to have to go to commercial break.
Yes.
But yes, the stories are all very different. Get your copy, and we'll go to commercial break.
Okay.
Why do 98% of beauty enthusiasts rave about coolness? It's all in the blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. Introducing Coolness, Pearlescent Face and Eye Serum Cream. This powerhouse combines the antioxidative power of schisandra berries, the glow of pearl powder, and the hydrating wonders of dragon's blood extract. It's like a time machine for your skin, making it radiant, firm, and oh so smooth. Inspired by ancient Chinese traditions and backed by modern nutritional science, this serum cream is perfect for dry, mature, and aging skin. It's time to unlock your inner glow with Coolness. Treat your skin to the best of both worlds today.
She looks like she has it all together, but inside, she's exhausted, disconnected, and asking, is this really it? I'm Amanda Beth. I help visionary women shift from burnout to embodiment, from survival mode to soulful success. Through intuitive healing and aligned strategy, I guide them back to their power so they can lead with clarity, confidence, and calm.
I was floored at how effective and powerful and insightful everything was in this journey. She is amazing, and you should absolutely do it.
This isn't about pushing harder. This is about rising with purpose, prosperity, and peace.
And we are back. So Teresa, one more time, can you give me your best connections?
Where people can get in touch with me?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so you can go to Daily Gift Book Series. You can go to you can write me at Daily Gift Book Series at Amazon, at gmail.com, or Teresa Velarde at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook under my name. I have a page called Daily Gift. It's a group for people who have authored in the books. Daily Gift Book Series. Surprise. Consistency is key.
Yes, it is. And
yeah.
Kristy, how can folks connect with you for getting their stories under control?
The easiest way is just to go to barefootwritersclub.com and just that's for my writers, or you can just email me at barefootwritersclub@gmail. And I have courses that you self-learning courses, or if you have the book and you're ready to go, just let me know and we'll jump on a Zoom and talk about it.
Awesome. So if today's episode spoke to you, you don't go it alone. Book your free consult with one of our expert coaches at chronichealthcollective.com for personalized support. Subscribe to our monthly magazine for expert tips from all 10 coaches to elevate your health, mindset, and relationships. Catch us live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, or watch past episodes anytime on E360 TV or youtube.com/@chronichealthcollective. Thanks for tuning in. Your transformation starts now. We'll see you next week.